I am calling to tell you that our judges elected your piece as the winner.
Oh my God.
That is extremely overwhelming.
Are you sure you're calling the right?
Yes, I'm calling the right guy.
I'm Assia Boundaoui, an investigative journalist and documentary filmmaker.
FBI agent.
I start seeing, car with no plate number.
The Feeling of Being Watched is a personal and investigative documentary film that digs into a decade of FBI surveillance in the Muslim immigrant neighborhood where I grew up.
Denver is always parked right there.
It's like how you see in the movies, like sitting staked out in front of your house.
It was a really monumental moment finding out that I got the award for me and my community. I think the act of making the film was the act of disrupting this one-way surveillance gaze. And also re-looking at the same community that was being watched without being seen.
My name is Bret Murphy. I'm 29 years old. I'm an investigative reporter for USA Today, and I'm based in Milwaukee. So I reported on the Azizabad airstrike, which was one of the deadliest civilian casualty events of the Afghan war. When I went over there, I got confidential United Nations reports. We had to sue the Pentagon for their own investigation. And what I found was that there was as many as 90 civilians, and most of these were children that were killed. We published, and there was not a big press conference from the Pentagon saying, we made this huge mistake in Afghanistan. Nothing like that happened. So when we heard we had won the Livingston Award, it really helped validate the whole team at USA Today, and it was a huge team.
My name is Caroline Chen. I am a healthcare reporter at ProPublica. This was an investigation about a transplant program in New Jersey that prioritized survival rates above everything else and how that affected the way that they treated their patients and their patients' families. In this industry, there are people who have seen variations on this, maybe not as extreme, but having the actual audio from these meetings sort of really laid it bare in a way that I think the medical community and the transplant community couldn't ignore it anymore, and they had to talk about it.
The film broadcast on PBS, and we had something like 1.7 million viewers, and I got letters from people all over the country. There were people that were like, yes, this is happening in my community too. It just validated why it was important to tell this story, and that speaking out was important for this reason. Because
we were able to kind of do a minute-by-minute breakdown of the night of the raid, as well as the months of mistakes that preceded it. What a lot of these experts told me was that these are extremely instructive stories. And I heard that it had some impact among lawmakers and how they're thinking about things.
I've talked to some patients and families who have said before, I just want the program shut down. But then the city of Newark wouldn't have a program to serve them. What ended up happening was that CMS required them to put in a plan of correction, and they have made those corrections. And so I think this is a good outcome for patients, that they will have safer and better care at the hospital. Basically, the sequel of the film is dealing with all of these thousands of pages of redacted documents.
Where we've been experimenting with using artificial intelligence to predict what might be behind some of the redacted spaces.
An interactive platform that will house the entire archive of all of the documents I ever received from the FOIAs.
I know that since I won the award and since I've kind of gotten that validation personally, I've been pitching more stories like this. I'm looking now to do more overseas investigations, especially ones that tie in to a U.S. involvement or failure stateside that are harming people overseas.
In the last year, I've been a pandemic reporter, and it has been a wild year. But wanting to help guide people through this has been something that I feel like was an instinct of mine, and now I feel really encouraged that I should keep pursuing that.
Winning the Livingston Award at that time was wonderful because I was just, starting to develop this idea for continuing the work on the FOIAs. And it was really, it's been helpful in drumming up more support for the project.
I think for a lot of American readers, it's very easy to not care about the things going on in the rest of the world. It's often very difficult. We have enough problems stateside. So a lot of these stories sometimes don't get what we call like traction. So I hope that that sort of validation leads to more reporting projects like this, not just for USA Today, but for other editors who are thinking about taking a risk.
I just feel like the Livingston sort of tells me, like, keep going.